Hello everyone, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome to the second episode of a little series we sort of began last year, called Darkelfguy's Favorite Mods, where we take a look at just some of my own personal favorite mods of just all time. If you missed the pilot episode, you can find a link to that just down below, but to real quick just go over the gist of what this series is about. Basically, as a mod showcaser, I tend to be pretty impartial about what mods I showcase, because, and I can't stress this enough, I am not a reviewer. The purpose of my video, my video showcases here, is to show off mods, not review them. There is most definitely a difference. My job is to highlight and showcase a wide variety of mods, regardless of my own personal opinions. But anyway, this series just gives me a chance to focus and highlight the mods that I do absolutely love and enjoy and consider to be some of my favorite mods of all time. But we're not just looking at my favorite mods. Oh no! There is a community aspect to this as well, as I mentioned last time. In each episode, we'll be dedicating a bit of time to looking at the community's favorite mods as well. And we got a ton of recommendations in the pilot episodes, so we'll be going over some of your favorite mods that were posted last time here today. Not all of them, but a few, and some of these are just some of my favorites, so there's definitely a bit of crossover here. And if you recommended a mod last time, and we haven't gotten to it yet, I will try and, get to it sometime in the future. And of course, I'd still love to hear, about any mods that you consider to be your own personal favorites, so just post them down below, and we might showcase them next time. Anyway, as always, down links and timestamps are just down below. So let's go ahead and just begin here. And starting out, we're going to take a look at what is really, I think, one of everyone's favorite graphical immersion mods, Glow in the Dark by Melchior. This was actually suggested by Murmur and the Amazing Bat Boy as one of their favorite mods, and it's one of my favorite mods too, as I've expressed at length about in the past, and as I'll express in disturbing detail right now. Dunk me in your luminescent ectoplasmic goo, you shining pillar. Cover me in your illuminating rays, you delicious light bringer. Cast me in your intermittent glow, you superb beacon of delight. Smother me in atmosphere, you hulking giant of ambience. Fill me with embers, you magnificent flaming bonfire. What? Too far? Personally, I really liked the John Oliver and Adam Driver bits, but anyway. Point is, I absolutely love Glow in the Dark. Since it was released in 2018, it has become one of my just all-time favorite mods, and one I couldn't possibly even think of living without. It's a permanent part of my game on every single one of my over 50 Morrowind installs. But if you somehow don't know what Glow in the Dark is, let's just, real quick go over what it does. So, basically, Glow in the Dark makes it so that windows will light up at night, adding a warm atmospheric glow to towns and cities after the sun goes down, just adding an immense feeling of life to the game. Not only that, but it also adds interior sun rays to windows, which just come on during daylight hours, and best of all, it does all this automatically with support for every other mod out there, just right out of the box. So whether you're playing through vanilla content, or traveling through the Terry-built mainland, or checking out one of the numerous other landmass mods out there, you'll always be welcomed with warm, glowing windows at night. You can even adjust when windows start glowing by setting the start and end times for when they light up, and to say the least, I absolutely love and adore this mod, and I refuse to play without it. It is utterly fantastic and just one of my all-time favorite mods, precisely because of just how much it enhances the feeling and atmosphere of the game. But, next up we have a dungeon mod, The Abandoned Well at Dagonfell by JManOWar. This is an old classic. I think the original mod came out in 2003, and it has been one of my constant go-to dungeon romps for, well, I guess close to nearly 2 decades now. I suppose some of my fondness for it may just be due to nostalgia, but it was, really one of just a few actually good dungeon mods to get released during the first half of the 2000s. By today's standards, it might seem a little, dated, but back then, it was an amazing experience, going from investigating a well to uncovering a long, buried Dunmer stronghold that opened up into some ancient passages just deep below the surface of Nirn. I suppose it's a bit like a D&D adventure, something simple that opens up into a grand, intoxicating epic quest the further down you go. And whether it's just nostalgia or no, Abandoned Well Dagonfell is really what first sparked my interest in dungeon design and dungeon modding, and the environmental storytelling and detailing that I first found in Abandoned Well at Dagonfell is something I would take with me when I designed my own dungeons, like, the Haunted Tavern of the West Gash, of Justice and Innocence, and Ancient Foes. Without it, I'm not sure I would have ever really gotten into dungeon design, so in many ways, if you've ever liked my own mods, some of that is arguably due to Abandoned Well at Dagonfell. And it's a really fun dungeon romp. I still enjoy it, and if I ever get around to actually playing the game again, I can't imagine playing without it. It is one of my go-to dungeon romp, little adventures, and it's a fun time. That's all I can say, is that it's just a really fun time. And next, we have a Weapon Sheathing by Greatness 7, and this one was suggested by Dev Shaw and Murmur as one of their favorite mods, and to be fair, I think it's one of almost everyone's favorite mods. It's certainly one of my favorite mods as well, and it's another one of those mods I can't even imagine living without anymore. I can't even recall what it was like to not have Weapon Sheathing, and it came out not that long ago. This mod came out in October of 2018, but I really cannot imagine what it was like to not have Weapon Sheathing before. I feel like this mod probably doesn't really need much of an introduction, as one of the most popular mods to be released in the last few years. You've almost certainly heard about it by now, but on the off chance that you're new to the community, or haven't really gone around into, delving into the modding scene before, real quickly, I'll go over what Weapon Sheathing does, and it's all in the name. Vanilla Morrowind didn't have Weapon Sheathing. Unlike Oblivion or Skyrim, when you equipped a weapon, it was only visible in your inventory, or, when you had it drawn. It didn't show up at your side or on your back. Weapon Sheathing makes it so that whatever weapon you have equipped, it'll show up on your player character, including actual weapon sheaths for long blades, quivers for bows and arrows, and just, all that fun stuff. It is an incredibly immersive mod that feels like a natural extension of the game, adding in a feature that was, just missing in Vanilla Morrowind, and which, once you have it installed, you'll forget it was ever missing in the first place. With full modding support with automatic weapon sheathing for mods that add new weapons and support for OpenMW, it's no wonder why it's such a popular mod, and honestly, I really can't live without it. It is such a simple thing that so vastly improves the game. It really is just a must-have mod, but, checking out a house mod next, we have a Castle Hestatur by Spokorni, aka Spok, and I do apologize if I mispronounced any of that. This one was recommended by Jon Babb as one of their favorite house mods, and I have to admit, it's one of my favorite house mods too, though really that goes for just all of Spok's housing mods. Spok was arguably one of the best housing modders of the mid to late 2000s. They're really just quite unique in terms of design. I mean, who could forget Splinter Manor, a house mod and literally based on an old Unreal Tournament map. It is just a really creative, bit of house modding, but in any event, Castle Hestatur is a bit of a classic, adding a new castle abode to an island just north of Dagon, complete with an intimidating set of walls here, a port, and numerous towers to lend a proper air of verticality to this massive abode. Going inside, you'll find a number of grand halls, a throne room, library, dining halls fit for a feast, large chambers for displaying items, alchemy labs, bathing chambers, barracks, armory halls, kitchens, and quite a large number of bedrooms, all of which comes equipped with armored display mannequins, a teleport ring, ingredient sorters, and all sorts of other little convenience services. There's just a lot of content jam-packed into Castle Hestatur, and it would take a much longer video to go over all of it in detail. But needless to say, if you're a fan of castles and castle-like abodes, there's a lot for you to check out here. And of course, there's a ton of space and storage here for you to use, so you may want to get a companion or NPC servant mod of some variety, as the castle can feel a little empty on its own. But anyway, this is just one of the best castle mods ever made for Morrowind, and it's definitely worth playing for yourself. Finally, checking out a new races and characters mod next, we have Playable Dremora by Miltiades. This was suggested by Eric Hoare as one of their favorite mods, and to be honest, it isn't one I've really played too much myself. I actually haven't played that many mods that add new races to the game. I mean, I did a Mog-based playthrough, like back in 2005. Remember Mogs? But that's about it for my experience actually playing mods that, add new races to the game. But I have showcased Playable Dremora, before, back in episode 47 of Morrowind Modding Showcases, and for all my lack of experience, actually playing it, it is still a pretty, it's a pretty good mod, adding 5 different faces for both male and female Dremora, and 4 different hairstyles. Unlike the Amog mod, this one is also somewhat lore-friendly, allowing you to play as an exiled Dremora prince, and overall, it's a really well done and well-crafted new races mod that actually makes sense and gives you some new role-playing options for your character. I need to actually, play it more to, really classify it as one of my own personal favorites, but as a community favorite, it is an easy recommendation. But that's it for today. As always, downlinks, are just down below. And I would like to, just take a moment to thank our patrons for making this video possible, including Area 5/Sunbalmean, Billy Fighter, Quiwi, Cyprinius, Danae, Daliant, Danina, Yame, Alcazo, Castoronau, Julian, Langastir, Macbone, Melchior, Dark, NullCascade, Old Navy Twidget, Operator Jack, Port Q's, Povuholo, Rissalith, Shuda, Circuit Cat, Stiffkitten, Telvani with 1,000 nicknames, and a 2-timing trauma root. If you'd like to join them, check out our rewards, including early access, behind-the-scenes content, and access to polls to, decide what kind of content to, showcase. Visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/morrowind. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe, stay healthy, happy modding, and I'll see you all next time.